And as was said, we'll be talking about the TMS 402 Masonry Code, little bit different name, and we'll discuss that in a few slides here. So just to give you an overview of what we'll be doing over the next 2 hours or so, I'm going to do a little introduction and just briefly cover. There's very few changes in the 2000 IBC related to masonry, but there are a few, so we'll talk about those and give a little overview of the 2016 Masonry Code. There were two major technical changes, and we'll spend most of our time on those. One is that we added shear friction provisions for in plane loads of shear walls. The second major technical change relates to anchor bolts. Two changes there, one related to the shear strength of anchor bolts, and the other related to combined axial and shear loads on anchor bolts. And there were also a few changes in ASCE 716 for anchor bolts under seismic loads. We'll talk about that. There were half a dozen or so other technical changes that we'll mention, and then there were also some formatting and sort of editorial changes that we'll go through. So that's what we'll be doing and covering that. There were a few changes then in the IBC 2018 that affected masonry. One is two materials were added: architectural cast stone and adhered manufactured stone veneer. Empirical design now can only be used for adobe, and splice length, there is a limit in strength design that now also applies in allowable stress design. So just to cover those changes, there's the architectural cast stone, and actually the TMS, the Masonry Society, the professionals or organization of masonry equivalent to like ACI and ASCE, actually put out three new standards in 2016 related to architectural cast stone. There's TMS 404, there's TMS 50, actually it should be 504, and TMS 604. TMS 404 is the design, TMS 504 is fabrication, and TMS 604 is the installation of architectural cast stone. So the architectural cast stone is things that look like this on the building here. Here's one of the standards there. So TMS does have these three standards related to architectural cast stone that are now referenced in the IBC. We won't be spending any time on those, but just wanted you aware of that. There's also been work over the past 10, 15 years related to adhered manufactured stone masonry veneer units, or really adhered veneer, so things like that look like this here, or houses that look like this. So there is an ASTM standard for the units, that's C1670, that was added in the IBC, as well as TMS 602, the specification, added that in. Not referenced as such directly, but there is an installation guide and detailing options for compliance with ASTM C1780, published by the Masonry Veneer Manufacturers Association, which is really combined, as it were, with the NCMA, National Concrete Masonry Association. And actually this guide is available for download for on their website. So there's also this adhered manufactured stone veneer that was added. TMS 402, 602 had empirical design of masonry. Of course, historically, you go way back, that's how masonry was designed with H/T ratios, etc. We had moved several cycles ago the empirical provisions to an appendix. There was a lot of restrictions on where they could be used, where empirical design could be used. For example, it only could be used in seismic design category A, and there are other restrictions based on wind. And we almost deleted it, the empirical design, in 2016. The problem was the IBC referenced those requirements, and in particular they referenced those requirements for adobe construction, which is not in TMS. So IBC 2018 was changed to remove the link. The clay and concrete masonry must be designed by either allowable stress design or strength design. The adobe industry is sort of working on changes So actually 2022 empirical design will be out of the masonry. There is also some alternate lap splice equations in IBC 2018 that can be used in lieu of the TMS 402 equation. In strength design, that the splice length did not need of a lap splice did not need to be greater than 72 bar diameters. This was also added into the allowable stress design provisions in IBC. Essentially, what happened was that back in 2011, we had increased the allowable stress steel reinforcement from 24 KSI to 32 KSI, resulting in, based on their equation, longer lap lengths, and they added this limit.